Welcome to Stories with Steve, a podcast on the Central Buna Podcast Network. Every Thursday in 5 minutes or less, we'll lift you up with stories of how God works behind the scenes in our lives. Romans 8:28 tells us that God works all things together for the good of those who are called according to his purpose. Now with an encouraging story, here's Steve.
You know, some say that people come into our lives and change our lives forever. Well, in my case, it was actually a dog. So looking back at my life, there were several years I lived by myself in an apartment and I always wanted to get a dog, but I thought, well, it's really not fair to a dog. You don't have a yard, you work all day and then all that. But I always thought it'd be cool to have a dog to walk and something to be there for you. So flashback 15 years ago, almost 15 years ago now, this year it will be. I got up early one morning and I was just washing clothes and doing my, just daily activities. But I remember in the washateria there at the complex I lived in, I remember seeing a sign. Somebody said they were giving away a free female black lab puppy. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. So, but again, I kind of said, well, I can't really do that. But kind of under my breath, I said, okay, Lord, if you want me to have a dog, just let me know, just show me. And so I finished washing my clothes, brought my clothes back to and all that, sit on my couch, and right after that, I heard this little whimpering at my door. I said, "What in the world is that?" And so I opened up the door, and the cutest little black lab puppy was sitting right at me, looking right at me. And I said, "Where are you? Where did you come from?" And she had no collar on, had no tag. So I looked around. Of course, it was a big complex, but it kind of backed up to some woods behind it. And so I looked around, and certainly some child or somebody's dog. I didn't want to take it, but I thought, so I took her in and I gave her some water, and I didn't have food, but I think maybe gave her some cereal or something to eat, and then just immediately fell in love with her. And I said, well, I can't keep this dog. I can't. There's no way I can. But I went off to work, and I told people about it. I said, hey, I found this dog came, and I don't know what to do with her. And somebody said, hey, you know what? That's your dog. She came to you. She found you. And, other people told me that too, that dogs have a sixth sense. They know which home will welcome them in. And so I adopted her. I named her Lacey. I had to think of a name for her, a female name. I thought about Lady, Lucy, Lacey. I thought about, she liked to chew on my shoelaces. So she liked to chew on other things too. She practically chewed up my whole apartment. If you ever had a lab puppy, don't leave anything out because they will definitely chew it up. And so, kept me up some nights. And of course, she wasn't house trained, so I had to learn to all that. She slept with me. We went on walks. We had a lot of good times together. She really loved riding in a car. She always loved to ride in a car. So over the years, I've moved a few times, and she's always gone with me everywhere I've gone. And the bond that I had with her was just absolutely incredible. Like every dog owner, the day is going to come. So 15 years later, she began to get older, a few health issues, but I began to realize that, she's not going to be with me forever. And so sadly, almost a week ago, I lost her. But interesting thing is, early that morning, about after 3:00 in the morning, she came up and put her head on my bed, almost like she was telling me something. I said, Lacey, you need to go back to sleep, and ask for it. And then later on, a few hours later, I would find her. And so it's been a really tough week, and the Lord's kind of seen me through it. She taught me so much about unconditional love and acceptance. A friend of mine, his name is Bill Ingram. He works for KSBJ Radio in Houston. He does a podcast, kind of a plug for him, called Welcome to Houston and Welcome to Texas. And he talked about losing his dog. And one of the things he said was good. A lot of people say that we'll meet our dogs again on the Rainbow Bridge again in heaven. And there's some debate about that, whether we'll know our dogs in heaven. I want to believe that. But he said something interesting. He said, not only does he believe that we're going to see our dogs in heaven, that he believes our dogs might even talk to us. Now, that's interesting to think about, that they can communicate. And they communicate in so many other ways. And I just want to thank the Lord for sending her to me. And I would not be the person I am. And, thank you, Lacey, for coming into my life, and hope we'll see each other again. So anyway, thank you so much for listening today. Love to know your story if you've got one similar. And remember, you got a story to tell.